This video introduces the Historian Client Trend.NET control and describes using it in Application Server, including importing the control into a Galaxy, configuring the control from the Properties pane, and using a method of the control to add the Historian Server node in scripting. It also shows how to display historical trends at runtime. Click Next to watch the video.
Once the App Engine object has been enabled with storage to Historian Server, and history feature have been enabled and configured for the attributes inside of the object that are hosted by this App Engine object, the processed data will be historized to the specified Historian Server. If one platform objects are enabled with storage to Historian Server, and their own attributes are enabled with history feature, they will also be historized to the specified Historian Server. Historical data stored in the Historian Server can be retrieved and viewed through Historian Client application. By installing the Historian Client application, there are Historian Client controls that can be run in any application as the .NET control, so they can be used in the InTouch application for historical data visualization. One of them is the Historian Client Trend control. To use this Historian Client Trend control, it has to be installed on a computer where they will be used and running. The following demonstration will show you how to use this Historian Client Trend control in the Orchestra graphic and display the historical trend in the InTouch application. First, since the Historian Client Trend control is not as part of the application server, to use it, I need to import the client control into my Galaxy. How to import it is from the Galaxy menu, and there's an Import Client Control. The installation of Historian Client Trend application will automatically install the .NET control and make it available under a default location. I will navigate to C and Program Files and Common Files, Orchestra, and I can look for AA Hist Trend Control. And as we can see, there are other controls are available as well. For example, the AA Hist Client Tag Picker, AA Hist Time Range Picker, or other controls are available as well. For example, the AA Hist Client Query control. That's the control corresponding to the query application. So I'm going to import this AA Hist Client Trend Control.dll and just open that. Leave all default for import preferences. So say OK. And after this DLL is imported into the Galaxy, it can be used in the Orchestra graphic. And close the Import Client Control dialog box. Now if I go to Graphic Toolbox, and I can see AA Trend Control. That's the client control I just imported into my Galaxy. I already create a toolset named Demo. I can manage my AA Trend Control and just drag that under my Demo toolset. To use this AA Trend Control, I need to embed it into an orchestra symbol. I have already created one orchestra symbol here named Hist Trend. Just open it. So next I'm going to embed the control into my orchestra symbol. And in the Demo toolset I can see AA Trend Control. Just place it on my join canvas. I can resize it a little bit. And I can change the name to Trend. And from the Properties pane that I can see, there are a lot of properties for this control that I can customize it. For example, I can change the chart type. The chart type can be trend or XY scatter plots, or I can change other settings because this is a .NET control. So its properties are exposed to be configured. And scroll down to show you all the properties here are available for customization. The date picker format style, I can change them as well. And grid color, history source, lock it down, or lock in timeout. And whether I want to enable the tag picker, the tree visible, or hide the caption, and the current server is not configured as default. To configure the server, either that I can go to the Trend application, open the Historian Client Trend application, and add a server, which is the Historian server node. Otherwise, I can basically use a script here. For example, I can create a button, add server. Move my trend a little bit down so I can see my button here. In this orchestra symbol, I have already created a custom property which named Hist server. And this custom property is a string that I configured a default value as localhost. Since I am running a single node environment, my Historian server is also installed on the local computer. So I put localhost. Otherwise, I can specify a default Historian server node name here. So what I can do is, using this button, I can add a script, which will be the action script. And when left click on this button, add a comment here, add node or Historian Client Trend Control. And I'm going to use integrated security. As a .NET control, this Historian Client Trend Control provides various methods that I can use in the script. For example, if I put trend, which is the control name, and use the autocomplete, that I can see draw methods such as the about box, and add any tag, add server X, add tags, and scroll down that I can see more clear tags or current tag get style, and other methods such as delete current tag. I'm going to use add server because I want to add a server when I click on this button. Add server X. The parameters I need to configure, first one is the server name. I can use localhost, hard-code it, or put the computer name, such as Historian Server Computer Name. And this should be the node name for the Historian server. Well, since I created a custom property already, I'm going to use it. Hist server. So if I change the value of the Hist server and click the button again, I'm going to add a different Historian server. Use that button. Or it just use the default value for this custom property, which will be the local host. And next is the logon name. I'm going to use a integrated security authentication mode, so I don't need to provide a logon name. Same with password. And the last parameter is a boolean, which will decide whether I want to persist the password or not. Well, I say false because I don't need to provide a password, and I don't have to save the password. And just finish my method and finish my action script editing. The script can also be added to the onShow script for this orchestra symbol. So whenever this Hist trend orchestra symbol being shown, the server will be added automatically, which will be the same script. For example, just copy this. And when I want to add a script for this orchestra symbol, then I just right click on the drawing canvas and go to predefined script, and there's an on show as the trigger, and just paste my script here. Whenever this orchestra symbol hits the trend being shown, a default historian server will be added to this historian client trend control. However, this video I'm going to demonstrate you how to add a server using the button instead of using the on-show script. So just cancel. I'm not going to save this script. And next I'm going to save and close my symbol and check it in. To use this orchestra symbol, I need to have an InTouch application. From the template toolbox, I have already created a history demo, which is an InTouch View app template. So if I open that, there's a window called Historical Trend created already. And next, I'm going to just embed the symbol from my Galaxy browser from a demo toolset that I can select Hist Trend and just double click, place that on my window and go to Runtime. In Runtime, I can see from the tag picker there's no server listed and there's no tag name because a historian server needs to be added for this historian client. I can click on the button because the button has a script to add localhost as the historian server node name. Now I'm going to click on the button. Then I see from the tag picker there's a server, which is the localhost. If I click on the localhost, the available tags will be listed in the tag list. And those are the attributes I have already enabled history feature from my Galaxy. For example, the control system is an area. I have enabled the alarm uncount history from the area object. And GR platform, I have already enabled the CPU load average. If I scroll down, I can see a little bit more, like a mixer level, and outlet, inlet, and packaging alarm uncount. And others are the system tag from the historian server side. So to add a tag onto the chart area, it's just to select the tag from the tag list, for example, mixer level, and drag it onto my chart area. Then I got my trend. From this trend control, I can select different time period here, start time and duration. I can change to 10 minutes, and I can select the end time as well. There are more functions. For example, if I add another attribute here, mixer.temperature PV, then I can see the temperature on the same chart with my level. I can select the highlight pen here. Then the selected tag will be highlighted using the yellow pen. If I switch to level history, and the level history will be highlighted as well. If I don't want to use highlight pen, I just disable it. And from the tag picker, if I expand the local host, and from public group, scroll down, and I can see my Galaxy name here. If I expand it, and I can see the hierarchy of my plant model for this Galaxy. This is because when I enable the storage to historian server from the App Engine, I also enable the tag hierarchy. And once I enable the tag hierarchy, the plant model got replicated into the historian server. So that's why when I use this trend client control from the tag picker, then I can see the plant model, which is the hierarchy that I can see from the model view. I can save the chart. For example, I can save the trend chart to a file. So later on, that I can just open that trend file. I can print it, and then I can make a copy, and I can configure the server as well. If I configure a server, either I can add another historian server, just type in the server name and click on add. So once I add a server name and say add, if that server is available, it will be added to the server list. And from the tag picker and server list, I can see my A00 dev computer. From server list configuration dialog box, I can decide the login authentication mode. By default, it's using Windows integrated. Otherwise, I can select a SQL login. Then I need to provide the SQL Server username and password, and that user needs to have permission to access the SQL Server database. I can also specify the timeout for the connection or the query timeout as well. I'm not going to add it because I don't have the server. Just close it. There are other tools as well. If I want to select some history from yesterday and from yesterday as well, and just to select duration, for example, 15 minutes, then I got a history from yesterday, which is a 15 minutes history from yesterday. I can turn on the live mode to see the live update from the trend tool. For example, if I turn on the live mode here and then update to the current time, then the trend chart actually is displaying a live trending. However, data actually is from Historian server. I can also add some attributes from the mixer, which is the string. There's a shift message. Just drag it on the chart. And then I can use a discrete VOV PV and drag it on the chart. Change my duration a little bit to 5 minutes so I can see clearly how the Boolean type of data being displayed. And the little star here, if I hover over my mouse here, that I can see the value current time. This is the script I have created in my mixer object. If I put my mouse somewhere else on the trend chart, it will tell me the value at that point, time, and the quality as well. And for Boolean, I can see the value here as well. And I can move my scooter here. So on the chart, I'll see current time, what is the value for the selected trend, for the message, or for the discrete device. Scroll down. From the pen selector, I can move that a little bit. And then see the level, and I can see the temperature. So you can see the value from the scooter get updated whenever I select different pen. If I scroll right side, I can see the description. I can see the time off and min and max. And this is the description for history feature. If I right click on the pen or right click on the pen selector, then I can configure the pen. I can change the color. I can change the width of the pen to 3. I can change the pen style, or I can change the value access range. The bottom -10 and 110 is read from the history configuration, which corresponding to the trend low and trend high. If I would like to change it to 100 or change the bottom to 0 and apply it and OK, then I can see the y-axis for this level history tag change to 0 to 100. And the trend line style got updated as well. So this is how to use the Historian Client Trend Control in the InTouch application. There's a user's guide for Historian Client application, which is under C drive and access program files. And scroll down, I can see WannaWare, and I can see Historian Client. And from document, that I can see Hist Client. This is the user's guide of using Historian Client applications, including one chapter that I can find, which is the AA Hist Client Trend Control. It will introduce how to use this control, how to use the properties, how to use the method, and how to use the trend event.